For a moment, imagine this, a world in which everyone is an actuary. After about 6 months, babies would start to random crawl, and soon after, they would start to random walk. Their first words are more likely to be fellow than father, and they would learn how to discount before they learn how to count. Pop culture will also be different. Artists would create paintings with smooth, monotonic, and continuous lines. The movie Mean Girls would be about a group of teenagers behaving exactly as you would expect them to. And for fun, families would engage in a friendly game of snakes and basic chain ladders. These are some of the more whimsical ideas that crossed my mind when I brood over this simple thought experiment. But there are some more salient factors that come to light when we scratch the surface. My experiment isn't designed to suppose a world in which everyone is working in the traditional fields of actuarial science, rather to ask what the world would look like if everyone had the traits of the ideal actuary. A household might, for example, value the purchase of a car not based on the price tag alone, and instead consider the net present value of cash flows arising. Engineers wouldn't slap crude and large safety factors onto their calculations, and would build their structures with margins based on statistically robust confidence intervals. Farming practice might not change all that much, as good farmers already manage their businesses with a long-term view. They spend prudently to smooth profits and know all too well of the benefits of diversification. One might suggest that they'll only improve on this using statistical methods, such as implementing capital models to manage their solvency positions. I imagine a changed media industry, one where journalists and reporters discard sensationalism and focus on objective truths. And if we're very lucky, they won't talk so much about things they know so little about. Similarly, for politics, we would exchange populism and the ideas of a conservative or a liberal regime simply for a neutral one that addresses all stakeholder needs and that provides increased transparency and accountability. By now, it should be clear that if we were to apply the core principles common to every actuary, we might see some significant improvements in all facets of life and business. But perhaps our rose-tinted glasses need to come off for a minute. If everyone were actuaries, would we have entrepreneurs that seek out risk in order to create new wealth? Or would we simply be focused on the preservation and management of the wealth that was created before? As a population and profession, would we constantly be pushing the boundaries of innovation and knowledge? Would we evolve and adapt to ensure that the skill set we develop is relevant and useful to the world around us? Or would we shape the world in a way that requires our presence, relying on regulation to necessitate our importance? Would there be creative destruction and a reshaping of the paradigms under which we operate? Or would we simply do as was done before, since that's the way things have been done? Would we be threatened by emerging fields of knowledge, or would we embrace them and realize that this is yet another area of expertise where the application of our methodologies will add value? Perhaps we should ask if these emerging fields would even exist if everyone was an actuary. The point I'm trying to make is that actuaries have an incredible skill set, one that transcends the practical applications of the traditional fields of actuarial work. An actuary is not simply a highly qualified individual working in the financial services industry. As I see it, an actuary is a source of truth, thoughtful and meticulous, a master of risk, knowing how to manage it and how to exploit it. In a time of change where more actuaries venture from the traditional fields of work and the emerging fields of data science and AI increase in popularity, we must ask ourselves if we're a dynamic profession that can adapt to the evolving world around us while maintaining the high standards and quantitative rigor that make our profession so valued. I've presented here a thought experiment with a lot of would questions. In short, if everyone was an actuary, would we make the world better or would we make it worse? But I'll close off by focusing on what could be instead. While it is natural that the core competencies of an actuary will remain in the financial services industry, I believe that the true value of an actuary lies not in what they do, but rather in how they do it. That being said, we have the opportunity to create a body of professionals equipped with a toolkit that allows them to penetrate any industry and with an almost Midas-like touch, turn it to gold.